Say that again. I missed that.
That was really stupid.
Oh,
No, it was
that
funny.
wasn't what you
Did you
said.
think I said funny?
Yes.
Stupid.
Must be your connection. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it
You
must
might-
be.
You
Yes,
need
I
to
know.
reset your modem.
You know what I like best about you hitting recording when I don't expect it?
What's that?
Is
You
you
don't
hitting
expect it?
recording when I don't expect it.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you
So-
should expect it.
I know I should, and I
Expect
kind of
the
like that you
unexpected.
do that, actually.
Well, I think I should start doing it a little bit earlier so we actually get some of the content that we start rolling with, because as soon as it starts going, you and I both clam up. I mean,
Can I just say
this is
we
a
are
really
much
boring podcast. I'm
You're
sure.
absolutely right. We are much funnier before we start than when we go.
And after we end. I think that's
You know
when
what?
most of
You're
the-
right. But
Because-
that's only because you wait with your punchlines until we're done.
Well, it's only because that's how long it takes for me to think of them.
It's sort of like a teaser.
You ever have one of those situations where you're so frustrated with someone, or someone says something extremely funny or is extremely stupid, and you want to have a comeback so bad? Your comebacks are usually either stupid or non-existent, and then an hour or two later,
Yep.
all of a sudden you're like, I should have said that.
Mine come in the
I
middle
would
of the
have gotten
night.
them.
Middle of
Do
the
I?
night. Because
Yes.
I will be, no kidding, tossing and turning, pissed because I couldn't think of it at the time.
Yep, me
And
too.
that's
I'm
when I get
exactly
them.
the same
And
way.
I'm just like, ah! Now, I will admit, it doesn't happen often, or it was a good comeback. It just wasn't a great comeback, because
Yeah.
I'm generally, and the rest of my family is much the same way, pretty quick with comebacks. I mean, Lord knows I have to be with you.
Well,
So
I mean, you can't be perfect, but I that's why I chose you. I don't even know what that
because you
means.
can't be perfect.
Exactly. Yeah.
We were
Something
so
like that.
close to perfect.
I was so close to a really, you know what, tonight, midnight,
Yep.
I'll have a perfect comeback to that.
Can we start recording then?
Yeah, we can start recording at midnight.
At midnight?
Sure. Yeah, while I'm in bed.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, and
there's no money on the bed though.
That would be great, because I know you sleep naked.
Yes. No, I don't at all.
Good.
Yeah, that's just, people talk about how great and freeing that is. I've tried it just because, why not? People talk about it. I'll give it a shot. I couldn't even make it through the whole night.
No.
It was just too weird. Now, that's not saying I wear much, but I gotta wear something.
Yeah.
And it's usually a pair of boxer shorts or something. I can't.
Yeah.
I can't. How about you?
Thanks for asking.
You're welcome.
I was
Well,
hoping. Gosh,
this
I
is a
hope-
two-way conversation.
I was thinking to myself. I'm thinking, gosh, I hope he asks me.
I know you were.
Oddly enough, we're very similar. Oddly enough, because we seldom sleep together, and
Seldom.
when we do, we're in a hotel with money on the bed. But
Right.
that's for our long-term listeners and
Yes,
viewers.
it is. Yeah, not long-term, much longer. Anyway.
I know what you're trying to say.
Yeah.
It didn't come out very well.
No.
I'm
It's
the same way.
It's the end of the day. It's a long
I am
day.
the same way. It's usually undies and a t-shirt, and that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
But again, the naked thing, maybe when we were first married, and I was, see me looking out to the other room because Lisa's out there. It's funny
Trying to
because
make sure she's not listening.
Oh no, I don't care. She's going to be listening to it later.
That's where I was going
love
with that.
She does that. That's awesome. But anyway, when you're a kid, you kind of go, oh, you just never know when a sex fight's going to break out, and they don't break out as much after 34 years of marriage.
I don't ever think I thought that way when I was young.
Yeah, I know. Jen told me.
Was the whole sex fight thing. That's an interesting concept. Would you like to share a little bit more about that?
I don't need to. I think other people know.
Other people that are listening?
Other
like
people
Lisa?
that understand that have done it before, and they go, yeah, John, yeah, sex fights. Yeah, I remember those when I first got married. But Nick is like, oh, no.
No.
Yeah.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Why should this be any different? Stop with the why did Kelsey Grammer suddenly join our podcast?
He's just a good-looking man like me.
He is a hot man. I will grant you that.
Actually,
and
I still think, he really is. And I love Frasier. I think both when he was in Cheers or on Cheers and when he had his own show, by the same name, Frasier, if anyone doesn't know what we're talking about. It's a fantastic show about a psychiatrist who becomes a radio
A
show host in
radio host.
Seattle.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And his famous line is, "I'm listening." But I say it because it's a podcast, but it's kind of radio-esque. We've got big microphones in
We
front of
do
us.
have big microphones. Our microphones are massive.
They are, but it's not size to is not what
We're
matters
not trying
here.
to
Okay?
compensate for
No,
anything else, ladies
not
and
at
gentlemen.
all.
No,
Mine's big red
no.
and yeah. Anyway,
I'm leaving mine
ha
alone.
yeah, but, speaking of, kind of on the same
Yes.
topic there, was it Periscope Down? Have you seen that movie
Not
with Kelsey
Oh,
Grammer?
I'm sorry. I thought you were talking about something else. No, I have heard of it, but I have not seen it.
It Granted, the last time I saw it was probably somewhere in the late '90s, but
Okay.
what I remember of that movie, it was just freaking hilarious.
Okay.
He just did very, very well in that movie, so I would recommend it if you get a chance. I think it's
I
Periscopes Down
I
or Periscope
Periscope down,
Down.
I think that is correct because I've heard of it. I you know, I so I must confess, and I think maybe Cheers just was on a year or 2 too long, in my
Okay.
humble opinion,
Sure.
because we were big fans. We used to watch, I think it was the Thursday
Mhm.
night lineup, and it was Thursday night on NBC, so I remember it. It was obviously that good, but I just got a little tired of it after a while, and by the time, Frasier was on, and as much as I like Kelsey, I his character is 10 times what it was on Cheers on Frasier.
Oh,
And
yeah.
and now he's in, another show, and I can't place it, but I just saw
It's
him.
not a but it's not a comedy,
No,
or
I
is it a
don't think
different
so.
show? Yeah,
I
it's on
don't know.
HBO, it's like Empire or something like that.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
He plays a mayor, I think,
Oh,
right?
that sounds right. I haven't seen it, so
Okay.
I
Yeah, I
can't
haven't
say.
either.
I think I just heard him talk about it on a talk show. But
Okay.
he's on Frasier. He was brilliant, and I had seen Frasier a couple times when it came out. The I'm listening version, and
Mhm.
I liked it, but not like I've come to like it in syndication.
Yeah,
It's
well,
so
that's the same with a
good.
lot of shows. It's either you love it right when it was out, and then maybe it's like, or it's better because you watch it later in life and maybe you understand it a little bit more because you can relate for some reason a little bit differently.
And the reverse is true. I was trying to do a Nick
Yeah, I
Freeze
saw that,
face.
but I could see you move.
I wasn't moving. The fan's on. It's very breezy in here. Um,
Mm,
because I like how it makes my hair flow
yeah,
back
I
in the
can
wind.
see that.
What are
I
you looking
understand that.
at? Stop
Makes
it.
sense.
We
I was
have the
gonna look up
cameras
Kelsey
now set
Grammer.
up so we're looking at each other and you're looking down at your phone. If
Yeah,
you're going to
well,
look at your phone, I'm going to go
do you
back to a
blame
split
me?
screen where I can look somewhere else. Yes, you're
Look at
so
yourself
hurtful.
and admire yourself?
I'm admiring myself when I'm usually checking, make sure I don't have any goobers out of my nose.
Well,
Fellas,
I've got something to tell you here, John.
as my mom used to call them, fellas.
Fellas,
Yeah.
that's an
Hey, you got a
interesting
fella
name.
on your nose. That was a
Hmm.
yeah.
Go on. What were you saying?
No, no, please don't let me interrupt your searching.
Oh, you won't. Don't worry.
I know. Let's just wait.
How do you spell Kelsey Grammer?
Grammer.
Well, no, Kelsey.
Kelsey.
That's how I spelled it.
No, it is not because it would automatically auto populate if you did it correctly.
No, it's just being slow and stupid. That's what's happening.
What did you call me?
It's not you.
We need to get. I would like to get a closer look at your slot machine. That is actually pretty darn cool. Maybe for an upcoming
Someday
show.
I'll let you. Yeah, sure.
I would
Maybe.
just
I
like to
doubt
see it.
it.
No, I
You
don't
never
wanna
know.
actually come there and see it. I want you to just
Well,
do a
good,
camera shot.
because you're not invited. Why would
That's why
why
I
would I do
don't wanna
that?
that's not what Jen said. She said I could come over.
Oh, well, yeah, she is the boss. Okay,
I
so there's
That's what she said.
the most
Yes.
recent ones that he has been in,
Uh-huh.
the God Committee. He was
Okay.
in Troll Hunters, Doctor Death, which is a television show,
Mhm.
and Paper Empire. Is that the one you're probably
Oh,
thinking of?
Paper
That's coming out
Empire,
next
yeah.
year.
Oh, okay. So
The one I was thinking of is not in here for some reason.
here's the problem. I watch these old and of varying ages, let's call them,
Mhm.
Conan, shows,
Yeah.
clips on YouTube, and
Okay.
And I love them because they're funny, and if I can choose my guests and, yada, yada. But sometimes they're 4 or 5 years old or
Yeah.
more, and then you go, "Hey, Kelsey's got a new show." "No, it's already been canceled." "It was on 2.5 years ago."
Yeah.
So, yeah, that could be the problematic piece
There's
of it,
a
but
there's an interview show on YouTube that I've started watching recently that I enjoy. Some of them are kinda like, "Eh, nah, ho hum," but some of
Mhm.
them are really funny, and it's a guy who I don't know, but I guess
Okay.
all the stars know who he is, that interviews stars while they eat
Oh, yeah.
chicken wings.
Sean, what's his name?
Sure. I don't even know his name, but
Hot
they eat chicken
Wings.
wings that are spicier after every
Hot
wing. Is that the one?
Ones. Yeah, it's called Hot Ones.
Hot ones, yeah.
And it is
That's so funny.
Sean
I don't
Sean
I've never heard
Evans,
that. Sean Evans.
Evans.
I don't even know who
No,
that
no, no,
is.
no, no. Yeah,
But anyway,
you have to
I've
watch
really
it.
enjoyed that.
It's very good, and I've watched 30 of them probably, and it's
Uh-huh.
fun because you get to choose. You select the ones
Yeah,
who
exactly.
are, oh my gosh, Shaq was funny.
Was he?
Oh,
I haven't
yes.
watched Shaq.
There
Mila
were
Kunis was one of my favorites.
Mila, she still is. She's very funny. Actually, that's been on my suggested. I don't think I've seen the whole thing. I think I've
Oh,
just seen
that's really
part of it.
funny
But
because Ashton Kutcher did it like a year before her,
okay.
and he's actually in the studio, and she starts yelling at him while they're
Oh,
doing the
funny.
interview. It is really funny. Yeah.
Well, it's kind of an interesting concept, and for those of you who might not be familiar with it, they choose 10 hot sauces in varying levels of Scoville units, levels
Mhm.
of heat, and the first one is the lowest, and the 10th one, by the time they get there, it's the hottest, and often, like 5 million Scoville units or more. I don't
Yeah.
even remember the scale, but oh my gosh, they get hotter and hotter and hotter, and
Yeah.
some people have no problem, and other people are out after 6 of them, and they can't
Yeah.
do anymore. But they put these sauces on wings and chicken wings off usually, and they'll eat them in varying stages of speed. But then in between, Sean interviews them and asks them questions, career focused, and sometimes little minutia things that he only knows because of research. His team does research, but a whole bunch of followers. I mean, I would guess a million plus
Oh, yeah, easily.
followers.
And he gets massive stars. It's not just,
Oh
random people
yes.
or B level stars. I
Oh no,
mean,
these
they
are
are
A level
A-listers.
stars. There is no
Yeah.
question, no question.
They
But it's kind
Kristen
of
Bell
fun.
was on it,
Yep.
at some point too, and I
Yeah.
mean, that was really good.
Yeah, some are terribly very
Dry?
my mom wouldn't wanna watch
Yeah.
them.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they have
Yeah,
some
the
swear
Mila
words
Kunis. Yeah,
popping off.
definitely.
Yeah, not for mom.
No. Mm-mm. Nope.
But
Nope.
depending upon how and when they use such expletives, it's
Yeah.
pretty darn funny.
They're power words. I think we've discussed that on the
We
podcast. I
have
haven't used that line in so long.
but
I think we talked about that
power words.
once.
What I don't like, and let's clarity around power words. I agree with you, and I think when they're used appropriately, it's great. I,
Mhm.
I'm I'm not a big favor. There are certain ones I I do not appreciate the JC one just for the reasons of just saying it, because
Sure.
it just doesn't. I guess I maybe that certainly was in my past, but not anymore. But beyond that, an S or an F or I mean SOB sometimes they're really funny if they're
Now
placed in the right spot.
exactly. Now, a
Yeah.
lot of our listeners are wondering why you're not actually
I
saying those
can. My
words
mom might be listening,
because
so I yeah.
that is the reason right there. But at
Well,
the
it's not
same
the only
on the same
reason.
token,
Well,
this is an adult podcast, and we
yes.
do mark it explicit
Yeah.
because sometimes that F turns into a full fuck.
How often does it?
Pretty much at
And
least
who's
once an
usually
episode.
the perpetrator of said F?
John.
I am not. Yes, everyone knows I'm not.
Yep.
I
Mhm.
have very clean mouth. No, unless it makes sense to drop the F, then
Right.
I'm there. If it
Yep.
makes sense to drop the S or to do, and I like to be a little choosy because they're power
Your mom
words.
listens. Oh, yeah, that's
And
right.
because mom listens, that's true too, but and you would clean up your mouth if you knew what was good for you, mister.
I don't know. If it were my mom, she'd probably be right there with me with most of the expletives.
Oh, well, and that's fine, but she was a doctor, so that's understandable.
Yeah, Dr. Sailor, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So anyway, another
Yeah.
show I was talking to Whitney last night. We were at during dinner and I had made reference to Bob Newhart.
Mhm.
She had no idea who Bob Newhart was.
We've talked
And
about
I
the
said,
finale before, haven't we?
"The Newhart show?"
Yes.
No, I don't
The
think so.
the finale of Newhart, which was
Yeah,
the New England one.
bed and breakfast
Right.
yeah,
Right, yeah, I
hotel.
think that's what it
Yeah.
was, yes.
Yep.
The finale brought him back to his first show, and the last show, he woke up and the whole show was a dream.
Oh, I
You
do remember you
have to see
mentioning
it.
that.
Oh my
I've
gosh.
seen it. I used to watch that show with my
Yeah.
parents growing up,
Oh, okay.
and
Alright.
it was a great show. I
But
was just sometimes when I ask Whitney if she's seen something and she
yeah.
has no idea who the hell I'm talking about or what the hell I'm talking about, it just blows my mind because
Well,
these
you're
are
old.
I am not that old though. And
Not compared to me,
it's not
you're not.
always. Now, I can understand maybe not knowing Newhart, but I
Sure.
do know she watches The Big Bang Theory or watched The Big Bang Theory, and
Mhm.
Bob Newhart was on The Big Bang Theory.
Oh, you're
So
right, yeah.
I was just like, how do you not know about I can understand not knowing Newhart. That's an '80s thing. That was back, but there are certain little things where it's just like, how do you not know that?
Well, I
Now, the reason I bring up Newhart, then one of
yes,
the reasons it was there was because I was discussing that other TV show we spoke about, Ghosts.
yes.
We talked about that, and I don't remember if I talked about the British version versus the American
Mm,
version.
I don't think so.
So we started with the British version because I don't know why it was there, and we're like, oh, let's watch it. I know because the American version is ongoing, so there are only 4 episodes out,
Mhm.
but the British version I think is already done and canceled.
Okay.
So they've got all the episodes that you can watch. And watching it, and it said TV-14 on the television, so we're like, we'll just be careful. I mean, we're watching it and it's clean as can be,
Mm,
absolutely clean.
mhm.
So Peyton loves it. She thinks it's hilarious. So when Peyton went to bed, I started watching the American version just to see how it stacked up because some
Yeah.
of the reviews it said it's just a little bit different. And boy, they were right because some of the comments that they're making, some of the innuendos, blatant. Like
Oh.
you think, okay, maybe the British are just really good at hiding their innuendos. No, it's pretty much smack you in the face in the American one.
Wow.
Yeah,
So,
it's pretty
and speaking of
interesting.
so 2 things on that. First, do you find that it's difficult to listen to a British show without kind of getting into to the actual how the verbiage is? I mean, it's a different the accent is different. It just
Mhm.
takes me some time to dive into it before I can really understand it well.
I don't seem to have a problem with it. Now,
Yeah,
you're not the
Monty
first person
Python, I
that's
did, but yeah,
told me that,
I
and
have to
I
do
find it
that.
very interesting.
Yeah,
I have no problem. The
yeah,
only time I've ever had a problem, and I don't think anyone would blame me for this if they've seen it, is watching Train Spotting. That one
oh,
I had a
okay.
problem with, but that was part of the point of Train Spotting
Sure,
is you
sure,
can't understand these guys.
right.
Other than that, no, I have never had that issue
Monty
with those.
Python was the most I love it, it's hilarious, and
Mhm.
once you, get yourself tuned in to the accent, then it's I mean, it's incredible.
Yeah.
But, Wentworth, which is an Australian women's prison. There's and if I would have said that 20 years ago, yeah, one day, Nick, we'll be watching streaming shows,
Yeah.
one about an Australian women's prison. Not sure you would have bought it, but it's actually very good. You really have to listen carefully to get the dialect and the uh,
Yeah.
until you get into it, and then you can hear
Right.
it
It
better.
it could be maybe because my mom's side of the family all came from Europe and
Maybe
they all had very thick accents, so I got used to
that's
listening to
true.
that. So maybe that's why I pick. I don't know.
Mhm.
I don't usually have an issue. And
Well,
I
you're.
have to explain a lot of things to a lot of
I
people.
know you have to you have to slow people down when they're from Texas, though, because y'all can't really get that drawl.
Yeah. No. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
I'm the one
no.
who has to slow down a bit.
Well, and
Actually, I
that's
think I've
true.
done well in the last few years. I don't think I speak nearly as fast as I used to.
Do you pick up a Texas drawl when you're in Texas?
I don't. I don't usually I have to work on any accent that I do. So
We
even
moved
my Minnesota accent, I usually have to think about it to do a Minnesota accent. You know, a lot
well,
of people when they get drunk, they'll revert back to their accent.
funny.
I don't.
I've never seen you drunk.
Not many
Um,
people have.
no, you really do turn into a Minnesotan. You are
Oh, geez. No, I don't.
see? Exactly. It's like you're hammered right now.
Yeah, I am.
"Yeah, hey there, we went over to Fargo, Dan, and them fellers over there are crazy." And that's obviously Nick's been drinking.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Nice, good comeback. But that's part of it is getting into uh, the hook of the accent, if you will. The second part of my question, I knew you'd get to it, is have you seen the British version of The Office?
No,
A
you've asked me that before.
and you don't have to say that. Maybe no one's gonna remember.
You obviously didn't.
You've asked me that before. Well, that's because I'm trying to come up with content that will make me go, "Hey, that's really a brilliant thing. We should have talked about that." Well, we've done 150 episodes. Yeah, there's
No,
gonna
we
be some
haven't.
repeat. How many have we done?
No, 143.
You prick. Get mad at me for rounding up. 100
Yes.
150-ish.
Peyton does speaking of Peyton does get mad at me whenever I round up numbers, round
Does
up or
she?
round down. Oh, yeah, she always wants to correct me and say, "No, it's actually this. I'm rounding up,
Do you ever
you little
round down?
stink pot." Do I?
Do you ever round it down?
Yes.
Oh, when it
Mhm.
works in your favor.
Absolutely.
Okay, good. I just want to make sure about that. The British Office was you could see the characters, but you just didn't know them as well. So the character development was never. You were never a huge fan though of the U.S. Office, were you?
No,
Yeah,
I don't wanna say I wasn't a huge fan. I just never got into it, so I never
yeah,
watched enough episodes to become a huge fan. I
understand.
have a feeling I probably would be a huge fan if I watched it.
Gosh, yeah, it's oh my goodness, that it would be one that you could binge if
Probably,
you
yeah.
wanted to. It's
Yeah.
just
Right
we've
now, we're
watched.
binging
Yeah,
Madam Secretary for the second time. I
yeah, I
love
would
that
go through
show.
things 3 or 4 times, yeah, before I'd start new ones. What are you
What?
thinking? There's so much out there. Why are you watching things over again?
Because I have someone who lives here that needs to be caught up so she understands the new stuff that we're watching by
Okay,
watching some of the old stuff.
because you're gonna watch the new stuff one way or the other.
Exactly.
That's actually good. I think that's a smart thing to do. Get
Maybe.
everyone up to speed. And
Yeah.
then
And
when
then
and then do you know what that's from? Of course you do.
Yep.
We've talked about that.
No, I don't
Um,
think we have.
yeah, we have. Because we wouldn't both know it.
True. True.
There are there are so many of them though on Netflix. They keep talking about new episodes and new
Mhm.
seasons. Jeremy
Mhm.
Clarkson, come
Yeah.
on!
Oh,
So
I
I'm
know.
hoping he's
That's
shooting it
Amazon, though.
now. I know. Well, I know, but I'm hoping he's shooting it because I would actually go back to Amazon if
No, I think he is. Didn't I tell you November is
it's
the
like now this month.
Yeah, I think so.
Oh,
Let me just look. I
all
could
right.
be I'm probably wrong. I'm most
Well,
likely wrong. I'm
it would be the
usually
first time.
wrong.
It
No,
would
it
be the
wouldn't be.
first
Not
time ever.
Nope, not at all.
Seriously. Did you rearrange
Uh,
your wall again?
nope. No, I haven't
Okay.
touched I need to, but I haven't touched my house at all.
You see the Jeep
House.
thing I sent you today on Instagram?
No.
I did. I sent you a
Oh,
gladiator.
you did? I haven't looked at Instagram. I've been working all day.
You have not.
I have. It's
Whatever.
that whole thing that, keeps a roof over my head.
Yeah.
All right. It doesn't come out until 2022. I was wrong.
Oh, uh,
Something comes out in November that we were all
uh,
excited about. What was
Ozark?
it? No.
Also, they've
Good
put us
show,
off for
but
years. They keep saying, "Oh, they'll do another season, June, May, June, July, September, and then next year." And yeah,
yeah, next yeah.
not
Ozark is, it's their last season, right?
uh, mm,
It's supposed to be.
uh, it's
So
been
I
2
listened to
years since
another
they've had one.
Jason,
Uh,
you know who
yes.
I'm talking about? Yeah. He has a podcast, as
Okay.
well. Who doesn't have a podcast? They're all copying us. He does it with Sean from Grace. Why can't I think of names tonight?
Because you're old,
No, I'm
but not
tired.
as old as I
Very
am.
tired. I know, right?
Old and tired.
What's
Sean, give me more. Sean Young, Sean Duffy,
Sean Hayes. Sean Hayes.
Sean Connery, Sean Hayes.
Sean
Okay.
Hayes.
Mhm.
Sean Hayes.
Yeah, got it.
And what's his name? He does the truck commercials, but he was also on Saturday Night Live.
The truck commercials.
He does the Chevy truck commercials.
Oh,
He does the voice
Dennis.
of. No, not
Dennis.
Dennis. Not Dennis.
Come on.
Um,
The Ford truck commercials.
is it Ford? Maybe it's Ford. Yeah. What's his name? He's also another actor. He was both he and Jason were in. Golly, okay. I think we're gonna have to end the show
No,
tonight
this is
because I just can't.
enthralling.
It is. But
I'm not
the
searching.
name
You
just
notice I'm
came to my
not
tongue
searching?
too. It
Dennis
just came to
Leary
my.
is who you're thinking of.
No, I'm not thinking of Dennis Leary.
Okay, Ford trucks used to be on SNL.
Then it's Chevy Truck that used to be on it.
Okay.
He still does them. He was married to another SNL alum.
Okay.
They're divorced now. He's from Canada. He plays hockey.
That narrows it down.
Yeah.
That was redundant. If you
The
said he's from
Bluth.
Canada and plays
What was the
hockey.
TV show? What was the TV show that Jason was on? It was the Bluths. It was voiced by Ron Howard. It was
Never
almost.
watched it.
Yes, you have. You
Nope,
have had
never.
to because
Not with the Bluths.
Netflix picked it up.
Oh, well, I'm sure. You know you're gonna have.
Yeah, I got to. Jason Bateman is who I was looking for. Arrested Development.
Oh, well, yes, I've seen that. Oh,
Exactly.
Was their
That's
last
what I was
name
trying.
the Bluths?
The Bluths. Yeah.
Oh,
See, I don't. How can I remember
you were
that?
right.
But I can't remember the name of the television show. Will Arnett.
Oh, well, he does Reese's. That's the
He does
thing
Reese's
he really
too.
does. Oh,
Well, okay.
If you would have told me Reese's, I would have known that.
Yeah. Well, he
Sorry,
does a
not
lot
sorry.
he does a lot of voices.
He
So
does. That's true.
it's
Who's he
Jason
married to?
Bateman. He was married to.
Oh, not anymore.
Not anymore.
Oh, okay.
Hold on. Sorry, guys. Amy Poehler. He was married to Amy Poehler.
Oh no.
Oh,
He
yes.
was?
Yes, he was. Yes.
Will Arnett?
Will Arnett and Amy Poehler. They had 2 kids.
Wow.
Yeah.
Were they polar opposites?
I guess so.
Sorry.
Anyway, those 3, Sean Hayes, Will Arnett, and Jason Bateman have a podcast. It's freaking hilarious,
Oh,
by the way. I
really?
would highly recommend it.
Of course it is. What's it called?
Of course you were going to ask me that. And of course I can't remember right now because my brain has shut down.
It's okay, but that's getting fun.
It's not. Maybe it's fun for you, not so much fun for me at this point. It's a stupid name. And it's literally a stupid name, like it's idiots or something like that. It's Smartless.
Smartless.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's really, really funny. It's really entertaining. But they talked about Jason Bateman and the end of Ozark on the podcast at one point. So that's how I know
it's already over?
As in it's already over, yes.
Okay. That was part of what they were talking about was that, they're gonna do another one.
But I think they are maybe, but it's gonna be the last one, if that makes
that
any
would be
sense.
awesome.
Yeah. But I'm not sure. Don't quote me on that. Listen
All
to Smartless to find out, and that's my recommendation for today. Anyway, getting back to what I was talking about with Newhart, they had mentioned there was a whole scene in Ghosts where the main character had to talk to somebody about Newhart, but she was in real life, she was born in 1988, but in the show, she must have been born later because one of the ghosts was a big fan of Newhart.
Oh.
And he was trying to share with her what Newhart was. And he said, it's the greatest show of the 80s. And she looks at him and goes, I wasn't even alive in the 80s. So anyway, that's what made me think of all of that. So the last 10 minutes of the entire conversation was all just to get to that point
But we
thanks to
got
my brain
answers.
that isn't working.
We got answers
Maybe
to
my
everything.
maybe my hat's too tight. It is too tight, but
What does
that
the
could
hat
be why.
say? Let's see. It's a golf course.
Waskasiu.
Bless you, but what does the hat say?
Waskasiu.
Okay.
It's in the, Prince Albert I think it's Prince Albert National Park
Okay.
in Canada, in northern Saskatchewan.
Canada. Okay.
Kanekada.
Have you
Yep.
seen the tree in Saskatchewan? Very nice.
Speaking of,
Yes.
so this is yes, very funny. You are right, it's
Move
absolutely
along.
flat.
It's flat
It's
and prairie, yes,
and
but it's still
prairie.
very
They
nice.
even in Canada, they have, cacti, but this part of the
Yes.
country, this part of the province has a
Mhm.
lot of trees. It's very,
Nice.
very a lot of lakes, a lot of trees, very, very beautiful. If you ever get a chance, look up Waskasiu Golf Course
Okay.
because they on their first hole, and I think they cut it down because I've seen pictures recently. I follow them on Instagram, and the tree's nowhere near as big, but they had this massive tree right in the middle of the
Middle of the
fairway.
fairway. Yes.
And the course rule is if you hit it, you get to take another shot, and it doesn't count against your score.
Wow. I
Yeah,
would
that's
be
course
swinging
rule.
for it.
Oh, absolutely, every single time. But you have to either hook or draw around it if you wanna stay,
Sure.
or you have to hit it short next to the tree and then
How
hit it
far
up
out
over
is
the
it?
hill. It was about 190 yards,
Okay.
180, something like
Alright.
that. So
So, you like
we
a
always
7 iron?
used
6
irons. Yeah,
iron?
we
5 iron?
uh,
Just kidding.
7 iron,
9
about a
iron.
7 iron, and we'd always use a 7 iron, and you get up because it's uphill as well. So
Mhm.
I'd try to slice it or hook it around the tree and put it up on top of the hill. So you had a nice the green was down a hill.
Mhm.
So you had a
Cool.
nice, easy shot into the green.
And you say that. I always have trouble with downhill shots to greens.
Mhm.
It's a depth perception, and you think it just feels like you're a lot closer than you really
Yes.
are, and
Yes.
see, the club selection, "No, it says it's 150." Okay,
You
so,
never
you know what?
trust
I'm gonna
that.
get
Yeah.
a pitching wedge.
Yeah, you always trust. That's one thing I find very interesting now that we have these little power computers in our
Yep,
pocket.
yep.
I have an app on here with GPS that tells me how far I am out from the hole,
Oh, that's cool.
and it is very, very accurate.
So do you
And
think
every
there will be a time, and I don't maybe there already is, but a viewfinder on your phone, a rangefinder rather, on your phone, so
yeah,
you
they
just
I
hold
think they
it up
have
and
that. Yeah,
wow,
I think
that
they
would be
already have
pretty
that.
cool.
They have some similar things sometimes. They have GPS now on some golf carts, so
Oh,
you can
yes, on
see.
many. I've been on
Yeah,
several. Yep, yep.
and I think
Nicer
some of them
courses.
actually have a rangefinder as well, like that.
Well, and there are some it's pretty funny because there are some on depending upon the course that you can order stuff for the turn when you're coming around to number 10, they will bring food out to your cart.
Yep, yeah, I
It's
love
pretty
those.
awesome, right from the golf cart. It's pretty awesome. Yes, which you can tell what I enjoy most about playing golf, ordering
Yeah.
food.
Well, it's funny you say that. That was my best memory of any baseball game I've ever gone to,
Hmm,
was ordering the food. My mom would took me to my very first baseball game. We went to watch the Twinkies, and,
of course.
for those of you who don't know that those are the twins, and
Actually, yeah, the correct nomenclature by you. Twinkies.
this was at the Metrodome when it was still standing,
Ah, yes.
and she got so mad at me. I don't even think we made it past the 3rd inning before she wanted to go home because all I was doing was ordering food. "Can I have that? I want a hot dog. Can I have some cotton candy? Can I have a Coke?" Yeah, it was bad. It was bad because I didn't care about baseball. I didn't care about the game that was happening in front of me. I just wanted the food.
How old were you? 28?
Oh, no, I was probably 8,
Oh, 8.
7 or
Okay, I'm
8.
sorry.
Yeah, I was young.
I'm overestimating, sorry.
Yeah. My mom was a huge baseball fan. She
Was she
loved
really?
baseball.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's cool.
Yep.
Um, uh, yes, the game we took Mike to, we lived in, Chicago at the time or in the suburbs, and Michael's first ball game, and I'll have to look, but he might have been 8 or so. Anyway, but I have a picture of him holding up tickets for the game for the
Nice.
3 of us, and, we got him a Cubs hat, and we were never he wasn't a big fan. I was a bigger fan of Wrigley Field than I was of the
Oh,
Cubs.
yeah. Yeah, I
It's
can see that.
just such a cool place to go, and the first time I remember it that he walked through, uh, to get a look at the field from the stands, it was just it's incredible. But
Yeah.
there's a guy, one of the hawkers who's selling peanuts. He just comes over, and they're all, get your beer here, ice cold Budweiser, and all of that. And this guy who's selling peanuts, Lisa will remember this. He comes up and he says, "Peanuts, get your peanuts here. What's a ball game without peanuts?" It's like in your face.
That's
And
awesome.
it was so funny. And fine, I'll take some peanuts out. Yeah, try to watch the game. What's a ball game without peanuts?
So, when
Yeah,
you go
pretty
to
fun.
any sort of game, whether it's baseball, football, hockey,
Yep.
whatever, do you do the same thing that you do on an airplane, or that at least I do on an airplane, and look for the aisle seat? I do the same thing in theater and
Heck yes.
movies too. Look for
Heck
the
yes.
aisle seat so you can get to the bath.
Yes. Well, it's not
I
because of
hate
the
stepping over
bathroom.
people. No,
It's
for
not
me, it's
because
always
of
the
the ba
bathroom.
oh, well, that's probably because you're positioning yourself. Not that you'll have to go, probably will, but not
Yeah,
that you will have to. It's just I like to be in an aisle because you're right. If I wanna go do anything, if I'm gonna go, get something to eat or grab a soda or go to the restroom or whatever, I want it.
yeah,
Nobody likes I shouldn't say that. I just don't like it's not a claustrophobic thing.
not at
But
all.
I just don't like being in the middle.
Yeah,
I mean, great views and whoa, the middle
right.
of the row. Woo, I can see, the band,
Yep,
I can see whatever.
yep.
But no, I'm with you. Get the aisle and we just bought
It
tickets to a concert in April, believe it or not. So
Wow.
yeah, a long advance purchase, but that's when they're coming
Make
here.
sure you wear your mask
And
in April.
it will be, yeah, it'll be one of the scream masks, you know.
Nice.
So, but I'm choosing seats online at Ticketmaster, and ding, and I'm choosing. Yep, I go right for the aisle 1, 2, 3, 4,
Yep. Yeah,
because
yeah, that's
that's
how
where I'm
it
going to want to
yeah.
sit.
Exactly,
So
there's no other reason to sit anywhere
I'm
else.
with
It
you.
and it's really I do the same thing on an airplane, and it's the last time I can I can count, probably on one hand in the hundreds of flights that I've taken,
Mhm.
how many times I've actually gone to the bathroom or needed to go to the
Me
bathroom.
too, because you don't want to on a plane if you don't have.
No, no.
Because I mean, I'm a little. Let's just say I am wider than you are, so that was that's accurate.
Now that you have the big screen, can you see me
Going
roll
in
my eyes?
No, well, I can see everything. I can You've got a little fella.
I gotta
I'm
yeah,
just
I
kidding.
really do. Yeah, I do.
But a lot of these bathrooms, especially on the new 737-900,
Sure,
the bathrooms are tiny.
they really
And
are.
you get in there, and I mean, seriously, the only way I am ever going in there is if it's an emergency, because
Yep,
otherwise, forget it.
yep.
You
I'm the
see me
same
in the
way.
bathroom on a 747 or 737-900, it's an emergency.
Yeah, yeah, but it never fails. Anytime I'm not in the aisle seat,
Yep. You have to
that's when
go.
I have to go.
Well, that's
Yes.
your brain working on you.
It could be, it
Yeah,
could
it
be.
probably is. And the 18 bottles of water you had before you
Right.
got on board. That
Yeah.
was so stupid.
I'm actually gonna start carrying my new favorite thing, thanks to our new housemate. She brought a huge box of Pedialyte, the powder that you
Oh,
can and we've used it a few times, but when I travel, I tend to dehydrate myself
huh.
for that same reason, because I know
Oh,
if I drink the same amount of water, I'll be peeing every 5 minutes.
sure.
So I think I'm gonna start carrying some Pedialyte packs because they hydrate you quick,
Yeah,
and
that's a
I
great
feel
idea.
so much better when I'm hydrated.
That's a really good idea.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
tried
that's
using
smart.
Gatorade, but it's not the same. Too much sugar in that.
Well, they have Gatorade Zero.
It's not the same. It's kinda like the difference between Coke and Diet Coke.
It is, and that's why
You
I drink Diet
transfer
Coke.
just load yourself up with that aspartame.
Yeah, whatever. It's not like I have much, but when I do, I'm gonna have something that's not cloyingly sweet.
Yeah, well,
That's the way I look at it, but it's whatever you get used to.
that's
And
true.
I have friends who are Coca-Cola fans, and I I think we can all benefit by drinking more water.
I agree.
Yeah,
I agree,
and
until
so
water just tastes nasty, so you
which
throw in a
I'm
little
enjoying.
Pedialyte in there.
Well, that's a really great idea. And get a couple of jars of baby food while you're at it. Just kidding. I've been drinking a lot of water with lemon lately,
Mhm,
and
mhm.
that's A, really good for you,
Yes, it is.
supposedly, but, also it's really delicious.
Yeah,
It's really pretty good. So
Well, and I know I'm a little bit weird, but I do enjoy a little bit of lemon, a little bit of honey, and a little bit of apple cider vinegar in the water. That makes for a good little cocktail.
apple cider vinegar,
Mhm.
also very good for you, but it
Yes.
totally changes the it
The taste
changes the
profile?
whole
Well, I mean,
dynamic of
look at
the
this. I'm talking
yeah.
about putting it in something like that.
Well, it depends how much you put in, but
Not very much, just
yeah,
enough to change just to get a little kick and
yeah,
have a little bit of benefit. That's
yeah.
not a
Gin
ton.
gin does that too. I don't know if you knew
Gin
that.
does it, doesn't have the
Changes
same
the pro
benefit though.
no, but it changes the profile
It does, very
and
much
your
so.
profile if you have enough of
And yep, exactly, exactly. Very low profile.
it. Yeah, it's like that.
That's what I like to keep is a very low profile.
Don't we know it?
That's gonna be on my tombstone.
I'm listening.
Nick, here lies Nick Cubic. Very low profile.
Hmm.
Yeah,
I think mine
because
is
he's
gonna
not even
say
in there because I'm not gonna be buried.
I think mine is gonna say, "I told you I was sick."
Yeah.
I
I
think
think
that's
we
what he
all know
says.
that
Yeah.
already.
That was her no, you're a sick fella.
It's very, very sick.
So true, so true.
And on that note well,
Yes.
we did talk about what we're doing when we die, right?
What
Did
we're
we ever talk
doing when
about
we
that?
die. No,
Yeah,
is that the next episode?
that could be the next episode.
Alright, let me make a note.
So think about
What
that.
we're doing well, I already know, but
Well, I know what you and I are doing once we meet each other in the
oh,
beyond, but, I'm talking about what you want done with your remains.
well,
John's writing that down so he remembers because we're
I
horrible about
won't.
remembering
I'm
one thing
sure I'll
about
throw
the
this away.
I'm sure.
I get off the air and I go
Yeah, I've gotta clean my desk. I've got
mine
potty crap all over
I
it.
just need a bigger desk.
It's
That's
been
what I've
pottified.
come to.
Well, just buy another table.
I have potty all over my desk. Is that what you said?
Yeah,
Thought so.
something similar. Doesn't matter.
On that
On that
note,
note,
that's your closing line all the time.
I stole that from Jersey Lurkson.
Jeremy Clarkson?
Yeah,
Happily, I speak Nick. I
yeah.
know what you're saying.
Someone has to.
I know. I know.
It's a linguist's, yeah, that
On
thing.
that note,
Anyway, on that blah, blah, blah note,
yes. Yes.
head up to PoddiMouths.com. Oh, I'm sorry, PoddiMouths.com
Oh,
to
thank you.
listen to all of our past episodes. You can also find us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. There are some things on Twitter, but not very much. I do follow the Twitter account, but don't really post much up there. Uh, Probably because I know if I did, John would yell at me for using poor grammar.
I wouldn't
I hope
yell.
he would. Well, okay. So are we going to talk about that too? Because every time I say that to Jennifer, even if I'm joking, stop yelling at me because she's, upset or frustrated. She's never actually yelling. She's
I'm
like,
not yelling.
I can yell. I'll show you yelling. I'm like, that's not what I mean. In my household growing up, you use stern words. That's yelling. It's
Uh,
not, that's a different type of
it's
yelling. Let's
not the
put it that way.
vocal
It's not
level.
the vocal yelling. No,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
being stern and frustrated. Anywho, John, it's been lovely. I'll see you next week. I'll see all of you next week. Hopefully, we'll have good video. Did you notice the video from last week?
I didn't.
I had to
Yeah, it was
download
terrible.
I had to download the
Mine
backup.
was terrible.
I did I had to download the backup
Yeah,
because
that's
yours
fine.
cut out again halfway
It was
through.
terrible. Yeah.
Yeah.
But this
so-
week had the internet guy here today, so we should be rocking and rolling. Let's hope. Stop it.
So I
Yeah.
did the freeze thing earlier, and John's like, "I know you're not frozen because I
Everyone
can
knows.
see,
People
I
are
can see your thing in the background."
I can see your thing in the background.
Yeah.
Said
Well,
John
you're
Never.
asking me to use words, so
I
that's
am.
not going to happen.
They seem to work fine with you, finally.
Little words, the words that would come to me if I had not Alzheimer's. What's that other? If you get hit in the head, what do you get sometimes?
Wow, magnesia.
Magnesia, milk of magnesia.
Milk of
Yes.
amnesia.
And
Don't
milk
drink
of
that. You'll forget
amnesia.
where you had it.
That could be bad or
Yeah,
good,
that'll be
depending
good,
on
yes.
who knows. Anyway, folks, we'll see you next week. I hope we'll see you next week. After this week, who knows?
They can't pull us off the air. Ha! Nick is pretending he's frozen. but
I'm
he's
waiting for you
not.
to say "see you."
I will. Oh,
Okay.
see you. I never say that.
I know, but I didn't want to steal it from you. That's why I changed it slightly.
I had one last thing to say, and it was
Okay,
you
go
can
ahead.
go up to PoddiMouths.com and see past episodes. Wouldn't it be cool if you could see future episodes there?
That would be really cool.
I
You know the
know.
best way to do that though? buy a bunch of merch so we can afford to put our,
We'll get a
uh,
time machine.
time machine into our website.
Can you imagine how much merch it would take to get us a time machine?
Let's just hope people start buying,
Bill
and
Gates,
we
if
will
you're
be able to find
listening,
out soon. Buy all the merch.
yeah, just do it,
Just
and
do
then
it.
we'll get a time machine, and you
Do
can
it.
watch future episodes.
Do it.
Do it. All right.
Do it.
See ya.